Are you looking for the ultimate floor system for your camper van? Stay tuned. Hey everybody, Matt here for AVC and welcome back to the shop. Today we're going to be talking floor systems, and AVC has made a lot of improvements and added a lot of offerings to our floor system packages over the years. We thought it'd be good to just kind of do a general overview of all the different things we offer for your floor in your camper van to give you all that information in one concise video so you can make the best choice for your van build. Now today we're going to be covering everything from paper patterns to drop-in floor systems, so stay tuned, watch the whole video and see all that different information. Another thing we wanted to say was we've broken out our step-in trim. We used to include step-in trim as part of the packages. Now we broke them out just to give people more price points. That way if you want to buy our insulated subfloor, you don't have to buy our step-in trim. If you want to do your own thing, you can do that. Just gives you more options online to buy these things any time of the day without having to call us up and order those things together. Another thing I wanted to point out is we've added pre-cut L-track into our floor systems. It's a really cool thing we're excited to offer. We only offer it in one configuration, and that's going to be 11.5 inches from the back and 55.5 inches from that. They're spaced 44 inches apart, and basically we put the L-track as close to the back door as we can and make it easy to bolt in. And then we did 44 inches spacing from there, so that if you're doing like an east-west bed configuration, it's still underneath the bed. It's going to be the most versatile system for people to put in their vehicle, and this way you can put in like a drop-in drawer system or something like that. And you don't have to do any of that cutting at home. You know these locations are going to be solid, easy to bolt in, and ready to go. So with that, stay tuned and let's jump in. Our first floor system we're going to talk about is our paper pattern floor system. Now, as it sounds, this is a paper pattern. It's a full-size paper pattern that's going to give you the most options for choosing your floor system for your van. So if you want to go something wild, something inexpensive, whatever it is, you can buy this floor system. It is just a full-size template that you can put on top of your subfloor material and cut it out. And the idea here is that it's the lowest cost. We can put this in a box and ship it to you. It's quick. You don't have to worry about freight, anything like that. And you can have the most options in choosing whatever floor system is going to work best for your van. So we do have a couple of things that we put into this floor pattern as well. We have L-track locations, just kind of like our preferred location where you might want to put L-track in your van. We also have it pre-cut to sizes so that it's really easy to cut on your subfloor. So if you're using 4x8 sheets of material, you can put this on top of those, cut them out to size, and install them in your van. It's the exact same way we build our subfloor systems here at AVC. Now, the other nice thing about this is if you want to do some different seams in your van, like you want to center a 4x8 sheet up at the very front step area and put the other seams maybe off to the driver's side, potentially underneath the kitchenette, and one of those seams back in the garage. It's what I used to do way back when we first started. Then you can do that with this pattern too. Simply cut them out, arrange the pattern on your driveway at home or in your garage. Use this to trace it out exactly how you want on top of your subfloor material, and then cut them out and install them in your van. It's going to be really easy for you to use this and get a subfloor in your van the cheapest way possible. Our next option is going to be our insulation-only floor system. Now, this is one you might not be familiar with because we've never made a video specifically about this product, but basically it's the insulation layer from underneath our insulated floor system. We made this for a couple of reasons. One, we wanted to have a lower cost option for people that we could ship without freight. So this goes in a normal 12x12 box and ships directly to your house via UPS or FedEx rather than having to freight it to you. And that means it's much cheaper to send to you. It's also going to be in a lot more sections. So a normal 148 long body van is going to be 12 sections. An extended van is going to be 15 sections. You just glue this in underneath your wooden subfloor system or whatever you happen to use for your subfloor and then install it in the van. Our new updates to this have a more specific cutout for the van itself. So we're working from Ford CAD models now. And so we redesigned all the insulation layers across all of our floor systems. So now you'll see a lot of rounded cutouts and things like that, especially on the large section behind me. That's our insulated subfloor. But this one is intended to just be a lower cost option for people that want to get insulation in their van, but don't have like the complex router system that we have. So you can order this up. You can put it in your van. You get all that technology that's built into our insulation layer, and then you can put in whatever kind of subfloor you want. It is now numbered as well, so it's numbered 1 through 12, and then the extended options have other numbers there. There's arrows for alignment, make sure it's really easy for you to install. This does not include adhesive, so you have to provide your own adhesive to install this into your van. But it does have all the other technology like our underfloor wire runs, but there's no option for L-track cutouts with this. It does fit our step and trim system. So if you're going to use our AVC step and trim, it does fit to that size. But if you want to do your own step and trim or use the Ford Transit step, you can cut this subfloor back and build it out that way. Also, a lot of people, and what we recommend is if you're using the insulation only subfloor system, you can use this as your template and your pattern. So there's no reason to get the paper pattern. You can buy the insulation subfloor, put it together on top of some plywood, trace it out, use that as your template. That way you have your subfloor templated out, you have your insulation layer ready to go, and you can put this all together at home in your driveway. So our next option is gonna be one of our complete ready to go drop-in subfloor systems, and this is our insulated subfloor. So we build this insulated subfloor now in-house. We used to use a zip R panel, and now we're manufacturing this panel in-house. So this is a 1-inch polyisoacrylic foam bonded to 1/2-inch Baltic birch. And the reason we're building this in-house is we just wanted to improve quality. So we were noticing a drop in quality on the zip panel over time, and I think they were just trying to cheap out on the product. And so we decided, hey, let's bring this in-house, let's manufacture it here. That way we can control the quality that's going into this product. So we got some really good materials going into this now. It does have an organic layer, so it is a wooden top, but we did some new improvements to the technology and our design that are big improvements over the older design. So again, just like our insulated subfloor system, we're working from the Ford CAD model. You're gonna notice a more detailed cutout that fits the floor of the van. And that is because we just wanted to improve the quality. We're manufacturing this in-house now, and we're keeping some of the other things that we had in there. So we still have the underfloor wire races planned in. So if you need to bring a wire from one side to the other at the front seats, like our S-bar furnace wire, we have that built in. We have a wire race here. If you have your power on the driver's side, we have an under race here to go on the driver's side. If you're going on the passenger side, we also have that wire race built in right here. So we can bring that in from one side to the other. And this is just a nice deep channel that we can bring to there. One of the other big things we improved was the overlap. So we had some complaints on the seam, and even installing them here in-house, we didn't get perfect seams all the time, or we'd have to like Bondo them and sand them flat. And we just wanted to make it better. So now we have an overlapping seam. The middle panel we put in first, and then the front and the rear panel are gonna overlap the top of that. We can throw some wood glue on this overlapping seam, and then we'll just put some screws in there temporarily. So we just put in the screws that lock those two layers together until the glue has had a chance to kick. Then we can remove those screws. We can sand any of that lip if there is a little bit of a lip to that. And we'll have a really nice complete subfloor in there that has overlapping joints and it should be much better. We did have to add some complexity to this manufacturing process. So the middle panel, we actually have to CNC it, flip it, and CNC it again. But that was one of the things we could do because we have some new tech here in the shop, and we're always trying to improve what we offer. So you're gonna wanna choose the insulated subfloor system if you live in a cold climate and you want the warmest floor possible. Also, because this is 100% coverage on your floor, it's gonna give you the quietest floor as well. So because it's glued in everywhere, it's gonna absorb a ton of that road noise, and it's an excellent subfloor for your van. Another thing about our complete subfloor systems that we're trying to improve is the adhesion. Now here in the shop, in the past, we were using a spray adhesive, 3M Formula 70, and it's a little bit tough for a DIYer to drop that in because you get one shot. We're gonna spray both sides of that with the contact adhesive, and once you put it down, that's it. So if you have any misalignment, something like that, you're unfortunately in a tight spot. So we did a bunch of testing, and we found that this 3M 550 does a really good job of gluing down both our insulated subfloor and the synthetic subfloor, which we're gonna talk about next. And both of those floor systems come with 1 tube of adhesive per panel. So if you have a long body van, that's gonna be a 3 panel and 3 tubes. If you have a extended van, it's gonna be 4 panels and you get 4 tubes of adhesive. Now, if you need extra adhesive, of course you can buy those too from us, but we found that here in the shop, 1 tube of adhesive is more than enough to get all these down, and that's how we've been doing it here. The nice thing about this adhesive is it just gives you more working time. So you can put this down everywhere you need it, and then it gives you time to stick that floor down, reposition things. We can put the entire floor down, all 3 panels before any of this kicks. Then we can weight the floor and let it kick and let it secure that floor system down. And it's a way more successful DIY-friendly install process. Our next ready-to-go drop-in subfloor system is our synthetic floor system. Now, the synthetic floor system is made from a polyurethane foam with a fiberglass chop fill and a fiberglass stringer impregnated throughout. So it's a very rigid and a very dense floor system. And the big plus of this system is it's 100% waterproof. So we built we built this floor system for people that are very mindful about moisture in the van. So you're gonna have airflow underneath this subfloor system because it's not routed to key into the grooves of the van like our insulated subfloor is. This one sits across the top of all those ribs. So this is only a 3/4 inch panel. So it's gonna be 1/4 of an inch lower than our insulated subfloor system. But all of our step and trim, everything like that, all fits just the same. But it has airflow underneath the panels. So it's a waterproof material, plus you have extra airflow under the floor. and it's really, really dense. So if you're putting in really heavy things, you have a work vehicle, you're putting in motorcycles, something like that, I'd probably recommend this as the subfloor for you. Or if you live in a very wet climate or you're just very mindful about moisture, this is going to be a really good subfloor for you as well. We have made a couple of improvements to this tech as well, mainly the overlapping joints. We used to have these little bow ties that went in between the panels to link everything together. Found that install process was a little bit clunky, so we redesigned the system, and we're going to cut to some B-roll of that going in, so you can see kind of how those joints just overlap and lock together. We do have a couple of shims that come in that kit that are just going to support the floor where there's really big spans in the forward subfloor where there's not a rib to help support it. And we just have those loose in the box so you can kind of put them in wherever you want. Again, this subfloor system glues down with 3M550, so it's a very user-friendly install. Nice low pressure install, just goes in however you need it to go in. And we've had really good success with this. People really like this product. One thing I do want to mention about this synthetic floor system is just some health and safety. So because it has that fiberglass impregnated in it, when you're handling it, make sure you wear some gloves, rubber gloves, work gloves, something like that. And if you're going to be cutting it or sanding it, make sure you wear a respirator. Do it outside. Don't do this in your garage. This is, fiberglass, cut fiberglass, things like that are one of the more dangerous things you're going to be doing in your van. And so just take care of yourself and make sure you're smart about the way you're working with it. So another new product we're offering to complement our subfloor systems are pre-cut flooring options. And we've partnered with our friends at Campervan HQ to offer a pre-cut drop-in floor for your camper van. Now we have some extra technology that we've built into these options that is not available from other vendors, like what we call tubbing. So we have all of our floors that are built to kind of roll up the sides of the van. I think it's going to give you a much cleaner look between your floor and your wall system. That way you don't have any gaps between your wall and your floor. It also helps to contain any kind of moisture, any snow melt, any mess, anything like that, from rolling over the top of your subfloor and down into the sides of the van. I know some folks will put down their subfloor, they'll fill all the gaps with like foam or something like that, and then they get a vinyl floor that drops on top of that. But you're gonna still have a gap between your wall system and the floor itself. And I don't want my wall touching my floor because I don't want any moisture wicking from my wall up or from my flooring up and into the wall system. So I like having a little bit of a gap, an air gap there at the bottom. And to hide that air gap, we have a tubbed flooring system. So we have this available in both Lonseal products and 2Tech 2. The 2Tech 2 is kind of like an industrial woven carpet. So it's all plastic, it's waterproof, and the idea here is it's gonna trap dirt. So it's gonna lock the dirt in and then you vacuum it out. The other option there is going to be like a Lonseal product, and this is like a vinyl flooring. And this is, of course, also waterproof, but it's gonna sit on top of it. Any dirt or dust, anything like that is gonna sit on top of this, so you can simply sweep it out. They're both really good options for your van. They're both very durable. I think this is a little bit more, this was popular a few years ago. I think the 2Tech 2 has been gaining in popularity. I held off on it for a little bit, but I put it in my last couple of vans and I really do like it. It has a much more premium feel, but it's a little bit harder to clean, I will admit. So you do have to have a vacuum for this, and I carry a little dust, little shop vac that I use to clean up my van. Whereas this one, I could just use a sweeper. Now, both of these have lots of different options. The 2Tech 2 comes in a lot of different colors, and if you want to see exactly what those look like, you can check out our website. We have all that stuff linked there. And the same thing for the Lonseal. Lots of different options in Lonseal. Coin look, weird little funny pill-shaped look, as well as lots of different wood looks. So if you're going for that more wood look kind of a thing, go with the Lonseal. If you're looking for something a little bit more premium feeling, go with that 2Tech 2. So now that you've got a subfloor system in your van, you've got some vinyl flooring or some 2Tech 2 flooring in your van, the last thing you need to do is finish everything off. And that's where our step and trim comes in. So we offer the step and trim now as an a la carte, and you can buy each individual piece separately. So if you want to do your own thing in the step and you want just the rear trim, we can do that. If you want to buy just the front step and you have like a Ford Transit trim in the back, you can do that. We're just trying to break everything out and give you the most options as a DIYer to build your van exactly the way you want. Now we have made some new improvements to our step and trim system, so let's take a look at some of that tech. The first one here is going to be what we call the Z trim, and this goes in your doorway in the front. We made a couple of things here. We gave it a bigger relief cut at the front. We also adjusted the very back little piece here, so this doesn't wedge as tightly against the bulb seal in the vans. We noticed there's a lot more wiring at that little C-pillar adjustment in the vans, and so we trimmed this back just to give you a little bit more relief there. We didn't need it there, and then it's also gonna make installing a bug screen in your van from somebody like Van Essential much easier after you put all this step and trim. So that way you don't have to plan ahead on that. You can put our step-in trim in, and then down the road, you decide I want to put a bug screen in. It's going to be easier. You don't have to remove all this stuff. With those same improvements in mind, we've also adjusted our step section here. So it's the same size that it's always been, but we lowered the little trim here on the right-hand side, right in the doorway. We brought this down to get it away from some of the subfloor, give us a little bit more clearance. It fits with both our synthetic subfloor and our insulated subfloor systems a little bit better now. We also reduced this section right here, this depth, so that we're clearing that bulb seal a little bit more. And we did that just so that you can install a bug screen in the future way easier without having to pull any of the step and trim out. We also added a couple of extra cutouts in the step. So here, these two holes are going to align with the Ford factory threaded inserts that they secured their factory step with. You can use the factory hardware and put that on top of there. You can use a different screw and go into that plastic insert and secure this down. And that way you don't have to put a new hole in your van. You can use this and line it up with exactly with that Ford factory mount. We also put a couple of pre-drills here in the corners, and that's if you want to put in just a self-tapper and secure this down with a self-tapping steel screw. There's a couple of little pre-holes there that are going to line up nice and easy with the step. You can use those. You can also just glue this system in. So a couple little dots of glue or silicone in here. It's going to hold this system down. It's going to be nice and safe, but it's also going to allow you to remove it in the future. So if you go crazy and glue the heck out of this thing and drop it in, that's never coming out of there. So just be mindful about that when you're putting this in. Maybe don't go too crazy with that. We also added a couple of L-track fittings here in the doorway. So if you want to add like a little D-ring and attach your dog leash, we'll do that here in the front. If I'm at a campground where dogs have to be on leash, I can put my dog on like a 10-foot lead or 20-foot lead, something like that, clip into the doorway, and that way they can get in and out of the van. They can hang out in their dog bed, but they can also come out to the campfire, hang out with us, and I don't get the camp host coming around and badgering me about having my dog off leash the whole time. So a bunch of little improvements in here. Still fits the exact same way, and we sell these a la carte. When you buy our entry step for your Transit, we're also going to give you a piece of pre-cut grip tape, and this is just to provide some extra grip in that entryway, so that as you're jumping in and out of the van, you have a nice durable and like textured way to get in and out. We give you two pieces so that if you need a refresh in a couple of years, you can do that, or if you fumble it and you just need to peel it out and reinstall it, you get an extra piece with those, just so that way it's a little bit lower pressure when you put this thing down. If you mess it up, you got another one in reserve. The front trim, not a whole lot of changes happened here. We shortened this front end just ever so slightly to line up with our synthetic floor system. So that way there's no interference with the Ford factory trim, anything like that. We still have some relief cuts here for wiring. So if you're bringing in wiring underneath your passenger seat for your S-bar or some pre-wire into there, or if you're wiring your CCP over here on this side, there's relief there so we don't get any pressure on that wire and crush it. There's a nice miter here that meets up with our Z trim from the step, and it just gives you a nice clean finished edge at the front of the van. The last piece is our rear trim, and this is just a radius trim that matches the rear of the van. It's nice and tall to give you some good coverage no matter what kind of floor system you're putting in there. Even if you're building your own subfloor, this is a really popular product. We sell a lot of these a la carte, and when we manufacture these, we usually manufacture double the rear trim just because so many people use this rear trim in their vans. So really popular a la carte product, and everybody's really happy with this. Very durable rear entry to the vehicle so that you're not beating it up. The last thing you might want to consider adding to your floor system is L-track. We like to put L-track in our vans for two reasons. One, we can secure cargo in our cargo area with just some tie-down straps. The other thing is it gives us a nice versatile place to bolt all sorts of stuff down in the back. Whether you're bolting down bike mounts, a slide-out tray, or whatever you decide to put in your van, this is going to be a very easy and modular way to secure cargo in the back of your van, and it's very flush in there. So we do a recessed L-track. It's actually manufactured here in the USA, and we mill this specifically for the Ford Transit. So you notice it doesn't have holes everywhere. It's just 3 in the center and 1 towards the outsides. And that's because this misses all of that like framing and all that kind of complicated stuff under your van. And these are going to hit really easy to bolt in places in your vehicle. When you buy an L-track kit from us, it's going to come with all the necessary hardware to just drop it in, drill some holes in your van and bolt this stuff in. And it comes with some really cool machined aluminum end caps. This way you get a nice, perfectly clean section all around your van. That end cap is going to encapsulate your subfloor system, so you don't have any rough edge, anything that's going to fray or peel up over time. Everything is going to be secured by this, and it's anodized black, so it's going to look super crisp, matches all of our trim, and it's a really great way to go. This is made by our friends at Stay Ready Adventure Gear, and we're proud to say that it's made and anodized right here in the USA. Another reason we like to stick with this one. If you made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. If you have any comments about the products that we mentioned in this video, hit us up in the comments below. We're happy to take care of you there. If you want to order any of these things, we're going to have links in the description below as well. So take a look, click the links, go to avcrig.com and support the channel. If you haven't yet, like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.